couple weeks later, after we're at home in Syracuse, New York, I'm lying in bed in this new home that we had just built, maybe a year earlier. It was a cute little 2-story colonial with a 2-story foyer. And there was a window in the foyer. And I woke up in the middle of the night. I think it was 3 in the morning. I usually look at the time. But I saw this bright blue-white light outside my doorway, illuminating the hall wall. And I'm like, what is that light? Where is that light coming from? And I told myself, well, maybe it's headlights. And I thought, well, cars don't come directly toward our house in that direction. And the light's not moving. It's a steady, bright, white light. And I closed my eyes. And I opened my eyes again. And there's a figure standing in the doorway. And it's backlit by this bright light. So it's hard to see its features. But it's very tall. And it's very skinny. Its head is just about at the top of the doorway. And it's kind of a triangular head. And it's a very skinny body. And its arms are bent at an odd angle, like this. And I'm thinking, what is this I'm looking at? What is this? And I'm waking up more and more, but I'm also wanting to go back to sleep. So I close my eyes again. And then I open my eyes, and there's 2 beings standing in the doorway. Tall, skinny beings. And I'm starting to become afraid. And I'm waking up more. And I want to reach out to my husband who's lying next to me, and I want to shake him. I want to say, wake up, there's something in the room. But I find that I can't move, I can't speak. All I can move are my eyes. And I'm looking at these 2 things in my room, and I don't know what they are. Aliens aren't something I've ever thought about, read about. It's not in my life. And I close my eyes again because it's just too hard to keep them open. And when I open my eyes the 3rd time, there are 3 beings in my room. There's 1 standing in the doorway, and the first 2 are at the foot of the bed. And now I'm fully awake, paralyzed, unable to speak, and I'm watching them come along the foot of my bed to the left side of me. And the first one comes up right next to me, right up about at my hips. And he extends his arm like this. And he has these long hands and long segmented fingers, like 5 segments. And he takes 1 finger and he puts it in my nose and he pushes my head back into the pillow. And it hurts, it's sharp, but I can't scream, I can't move, I can't even raise my hand to knock him away. I can do nothing. And I'm terrified, and I don't know what's happening, but I know it's real. It's not a dream. I'm awake. I am completely awake. And this goes on for a moment, and then it stops. And I close my eyes and I go back to sleep, and it's over. When I wake up in the morning, my nose is draining profusely on that side. It's like I have allergies or a bad cold. My eye is pink and just watering. And I tell my husband, who's getting ready for work now, that I think I had a spider crawl into my nose. And I start blowing my nose, trying to get this out because I could feel there was something in there. And that feeling was awful. It was like, I want to get this out. It was like it was almost a panicked feeling that I had. I wanted to get this out. There was something in there that didn't belong. Foreign body. There was a foreign body in my nose, and it needed to come out. And for 3 days, my nose drained, and I blew it. And my friends that saw me were like, "What's wrong with you?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I think a spider crawled into my nose, and I can't get it out." A year or two later, I'm having really terrible TMJ symptoms. The temporomandibular joint is where your mandible sits right here. It's your jaw. My jaw had become dislocated. I was at work. I was an X-ray tech, and when it happened, it felt like somebody had hit me in the back of the head with one of the big X-ray film cassettes that we used to use. And I looked around and I said, did somebody just hit me in the head? They're like, no. But my jaw was dislocated. I had to go to the doctor. And I was afraid I was going to have surgery. They were telling me I should have surgery. But before I could have surgery, they needed to take X-rays. I'm an X-ray tech. My husband's a radiologist. He has a partner who I also worked with, who everybody knew. Everybody kind of laughed at him because he told people that he had been taken by aliens when he was a child, him and his sister. And he grew up in the Hudson River Valley area. And I grew up not far from there. And he told me, after we got to know each other a little bit at work, he told me, I know you. I've seen you on the ships. We were there when we were children. And my mind totally rejected it. I'm like, no, certainly not. That's not a thing. I'm sorry. So we have the X-rays. And I'm in the reading room with my husband. He's standing behind me, and his partner's sitting in the chair. We put up the films. And I look at him and I say, it's right here. It's right here. We look at the films, and there's a little white dot the size of a grain of rice right there in my maxillary sinus. It's undeniable. It's there. I look at him. He looks at me. He's like, oh my God, you have an implant. My husband standing behind me, I felt him jump back when he saw it. But immediately he comes in with his science brain and says, it's just a foreign body. Your body has walled it off and taken care of it. It'll dissolve. It'll go away. But I didn't believe him. Even though I'm a nurse, I'm an X-ray tech, I'm a science person. I am balanced and grounded. But I knew what it was. I knew what happened to me. And it's still there. I never wanted it taken out. And over the years, I've come to believe that it helps me. It's actually helped with healing in my body. When I get really badly hurt, like my shoulder, I fell on the ice 2 years ago, and I ruined the labrum of my shoulder, and the doctor said I needed to have surgery, but I didn't want surgery. I went through 8 months of PT, and for 3 months it hardly helped at all. And then one night, I asked for a healing. Before I went to sleep, I prayed for a healing. That night, I had a dream that there was a humming, buzzing. And I woke up, and I looked behind me, and there were 4, what my mind told me were tall honeybees, about 3 feet tall honeybees, and they were buzzing, humming, and they were working on my shoulder. And my next appointment with my PT guy, he says, I can't believe how much better your range of motion is. It's like overnight. And of course I didn't tell him why, but I thought I knew why. And I know it sounds crazy, but this is my experience.